What's going on, everybody? My name is C4. Welcome back to the channel. Today we're for a brand new Madden 26 realistic rebuild. I think this might be our last rebuild. We're rebuilding all 32 teams of the non-playoff teams. We got Patriots, Bills, Texans, Jags, Chargers, Broncos, Seahawks, Rams, Niners, Panthers, potentially after today. That could be our next rebuild. Bears, Packers, and Vikings. So Vikings, Packers, Panthers are like kind of three bubble playoff teams and or recently eliminated playoff teams. And we've got to rebuild. We'll probably rebuild them first. And obviously, we're going to rebuild all teams. We'll rebuild even the playoff teams. And probably we'll do those as the playoffs happen and teams lose. But I think the Vikings might be the most interesting because there's things I'm from the outside looking at. And if you're watching this as a Viking fan, I do not want to be stepping on the toes. I don't want to be pushing false narratives from someone that I've seen, honestly, a couple of many more Viking games I probably should have seen this year. And shout out the Vikings when they beat the Giants a couple weeks ago. Their backup quarterback, that was huge. Had a huge parlay, kind of came down to that. Very much appreciate it. But what I know about this Vikings team is they have an outstanding defense. As long as Brian Flores is there, and that could be up for debate. Is he going to get a head coaching opportunity? Seems like obviously things did not end well when he was a head coach in Miami. But maybe he was right about Tua, and maybe they should have trusted the process there a little bit longer. And there's going to be some teams that are going to be very intrigued by Brian Flores' defense. But the Vikings have an elite defensive scheme. They have pretty damn good defensive players, right? Like I look at this defense that we are inheriting. You have Jalen Redmond, who's having a breakout year. He was awesome. He was a stud in college at Oklahoma. You got Jonathan Allen, good veteran. You have good veterans. Grenard, good veteran. Van Ginkel. Harrison Smith could be in his final year. Byron Murphy. Isaiah Rodgers Sr. Very painful to see him leave my Philadelphia Eagles this year. That, and Metellus is kind of like that hybrid guy. This is a veteran defense, though. So this is a defense that the offense needs to pick it up. This defense is not getting any younger, and the window of this defense remaining a good defense, from a rebuild standpoint, like if we don't, and we're probably not going to win within the first year or two, there's going to be a lot of turnover. And then when you shift that towards, well, who are the players we can build around? Who are the young players that we have on this defense that we feel real optimistic about? You have Dallas Turner, who's like, I think there's a lot of upside there for sure. You have Ivan Pace Jr., but he's in a contract year, which we will get to that. I mean, I guess Metellus and like Rodgers, like still got definitely a couple years left. But generally speaking, it's an old defense that I think is going to be a challenge. I think we're going to have to probably fix this defense up at some point before this team is ready to go compete for a Super Bowl. But we have the scheme that we love. Then you shift to the offense. On paper, with Jordan Addison, Justin Jefferson, you got a 1-2 punch in the backfield of Mason and Aaron Jones. You got Felton, the rookie wide receiver, pops the dev trait from a Madden perspective. TJ Hockenson, one of the highest rated tight ends. The offensive line is outstanding. I'm shocked Ryan Kelly's a 91 overall, but we'll take it. Darisaw's a superstar. Use a big investment to get the versatile lineman here in Donovan Jackson. I like that pick. This is an offensive line. Now from an age standpoint, the running back room's getting up there a little bit. Ryan Kelly, Brian O'Neill are closer to like that point of regression. They're not. TJ Hockenson, a little bit of a question mark. But I think that most of this offense, if we're viewing this it's a 5-year rebuild, we should be able to maintain and keep most of this together, more so than the defense. But the quarterback situation is pretty dire. They're going Max Brosmer to kind of end the year. You have JJ McCarthy. I'll get this out of the way. I think Kevin O'Connell is one of the best coaches in the league. I think he's absolutely right now a top 5 coach, especially if you're viewing the coaches not like historically. Obviously, Andy Reid and some of these other guys have like the back. If you're just going from like a 5-year window, what have you done for me lately type coaches, I think you have O'Connell still as a top 5 coach. You got to trust the offense and scheme. Now, I know in Madden, Vikings team kind of sucks. Like, I don't really see a lot of Justin Jefferson getting 1,500 yards. Is that a quarterback issue? Because with JJ McCarthy, you now have a quarterback that's going into his 3rd season, and I think it'd be fair to say that his peaks are not as good as the peaks they were hitting with Sam Darnold on that one breakout year before they made an incredibly difficult decision whether to bring back Darnold at a big number or try to develop the quarterback they drafted. And I think it's fair to say with JJ McCarthy, you have an incredibly volatile quarterback in terms of how you view him. I think some weeks he looks like, yeah, there could be something there. A little bit of dual threat, can make the throws. And there's been more weeks where that's not good. That is a quarterback that doesn't know what he's doing. And then you throw in the fact that he's injury prone and his availability is a big concern. I think this is going to be a rebuild that we need to bring in a quarterback. I don't think we need to invest highly in a quarterback. I don't think we need to trade multiple first-round picks to get a first-round quarterback. But this is definitely a rebuild where, like, off the brain, I'm thinking, as we look ahead, it's a realistic rebuild, our realistic 2026 class. I think if we could find, a Drew Aller, second, third round. I love that, closer to the third round. A Carson Beck. Chambliss. I mean, Chambliss has popped off for Ole Miss, right? A Taylon Green, a developmental option. I mean, we used Diego Pavia, found a lot of success with him with our Pittsburgh Steelers rebuild. I feel like it's going to kind of fall in line with that a little bit. Bring someone in that might be some competition that things don't work out. If we're still getting dog shit numbers and can't get Justin Jefferson popping off, maybe have a break glass in case of emergency quarterback either in 2026 or we could look at the class in 2027. Like, all right, we're starting this rebuild with one game left in the season. Like, what kind of contracts are we going to give? We have Ivan Pace, 77 star dev at 24. Would love to keep him, even though there's not a lot of re-sign interest there. I think Jalen Redmond having a breakout campaign, 26-77. He honestly could go up dev trade based off of his production. Sucks that there's not a lot of interest there, so we're going to have to overpay. But, it's also good that there's not an insane amount of targets that we want to keep back. So I was like, all right, let's go. Let's give a nice deal here to Redmond. Let's go after maybe be a little aggressive Ivan Pace. And then, we're 31 in the red. No, this team is not good enough to be $31 million in the red. What the fuck? Great start. What a fun way to start this rebuild. Finding that out. So we finish up the season. What is it? Why does that say $42 million of salary cap? Did you each have like a bad rollover? Like if we're going to be able to have 42, that'd be fine with the final negotiation period. I'll be fine with that. Throw some money at Pace and or Redmond. But we go 8-9. We unfortunately lose a close one of the Packers in the season finale. But we end the year with very disappointing offensive numbers. Pretty good defensive numbers. Looking at the actual stats here, JJ McCarthy, again, it's not like, I don't think anyone's going to fault me wanting to go explore quarterback options. Now, I think with our salary cap, you don't do that in free agency. You do it in the draft. But I think we may, like right now, my approach in this right now is it's probably more likely we end up trading JJ McCarthy for something and trying to salvage that and give him somewhere else than it is us figuring it out with him. But he's under contract on a rookie deal. We got plenty of time to kind of figure that out. No pressure. Run game, Mason. I actually did not know these stat lines, to be honest with you. I thought it was a lot closer. Mason, 800 yards, 7 touchdowns. Aaron Jones, obviously a veteran, getting up there in age a little bit, had some injuries. Almost got 1,000 for Justin Jefferson. I'm concerned. I'm very concerned because I think more rebuilds than not. I don't know if you guys have experienced this in Madden 26. Justin Jefferson, like 2-3 years in, is like a star dev, which means he must be throwing up like this might be his season. He gets 50 yards a game. We got to fix that. He's Justin freaking Jefferson. You got Addison, Naylor, Hockenson. Too much firepower to having this much of a wet fart passing game. Defensively, Cashman, Wilson, and Metellus all over 100 tackles. We got 7.5 sacks, Dallas Turner. Eric Wilson put us a pretty good stat line. Van Ginkel, Redmond, Grenard. I mean, just also not enough production for how good this defensive scheme is. While I am happy Dallas Turner, probably the most upside, can kind of build around guy on our defense, had a hell of a year. Definitely think we should be getting a little bit more pressure, a little bit more in the turnover department. I feel like Isaiah Rodgers had like 5 picks for the first couple weeks. He only has 1. Do get an award winner, though. Somehow Eric Wilson gets linebacker of the year, so cool. We'll take that, even though I don't think we can re-sign him. And a pretty brutal retirement. I mean, I think everyone's expecting Harrison Smith, the great, legendary, maybe Hall of Fame Harrison Smith after 14 years. I didn't think me throwing shade at 91 rated Ryan Kelly, shocked that he's a 91, was worthy of him saying, you know what, if you don't appreciate me, I'm going to retire. So that means we are down the great Harrison Smith. and our highest rated offensive lineman? Cool. Now that makes a little bit more sense from a salary cap standpoint. $3.5 million. Like, I don't think we're going to be able to just magically re-sign everybody. Shout out the Bills for avenging their regular season loss to the Philadelphia Eagles, winning the Super Bowl. And for our team, dev traits up or down. I better not see superstar on Justin Jefferson. Fuck! That is, that's our mission. We gotta get this offense going. Justin Jefferson should at no point in his career, until he's made 37, and we're talking about how is this guy not retiring, should he fall below an X factor. He is that goddamn good. Fucking JJ McCarthy has made Justin Jefferson look human. That is a problem. That is my issue with this rebuild. We have no other depth traits up on the offense, only down. Defensively, John Grenard loses his superstar. John Allen loses his superstar. We gain the star on Redmond, who I can't re-sign, and everything else maintains the same. Again, $3.5 million. Can't re-sign anyone. We're going to decline the 5th-year option on Jordan Addison, see if we can get him at a better number. To be honest, I'm going to see if I can trim a little bit of fat, because I'd love to keep at least one of Ivan Pace or Jalen Redmond. So, like, see ya. Carson Wentz, $1 million. Up some good funds here by moving off of Javon Hargrave, the grave digger. Okay, able to free up $20 million. I just love to think from, what is he looking for? $5 million a year? Like, that's so reasonable. Go up to like 3.2, 3.5, 4-year, 26. Damn it! What's the franchise tag on you? $12 million. What about you, Mr. Redmond? I'd love you on a 3-year, 5 and 6. I'm on. God damn it! Greedy mother, come on! We made you! Brian Flores made you! Cowards! Well, I mean, $20 million, we could still probably make a signing or two. Looking at the quarterbacks that are available, absolutely not. Running backs were good. Wide receivers were good. Tight end were good. Offensive line, well, we need a center now for sure. And, you know, that might be, well, maybe the draft is where we want to come in at as center. Unless there's like, love like a high 6, like a Nick Harris. Could be something we come back. I don't want to be paying $5 million for like a solid center. Defensively, pretty much anyone that's like BPA would be nice. But let's see. Jalen Redmond, 4 offers at $9 a year. Like, I'm going to offer him the offer we did and see where that kind of puts us. We're even anywhere in the race right now. I mean, we're right there. I don't really want to go much higher than that number. What do we have at right edge? No one? Okay, cool. Jalen Phillips. Ooh. What's he looking for? 17 a year. That's gonna sting as an Eagle fan. I don't think we can re-sign him, but he's been very good. Linebackers, we could potentially see what Pace is going for and offer him pretty much what we offered him. 4-year, 26. Like, that should be competitive. It's right in the mix, but we're probably going to miss out on both of them. Top card, we have another Eagle here, Michael Carter, but I feel relatively decent about everything there. At safety, obviously, you're going to replace Harrison Smith. You're not going to be able to do that in one offseason, so we'll look towards maybe the draft. But let's just re-up on the 2 guys. Come on, boys. Come back to the problem. Hey, there we go. Jalen Redmond's smart. He knows he had his breakout year finally. It makes a lot of sense that the money's close to come back. That's a nice win for us. So, take a look at the final mock draft. Who are we going to select? Right now, we have Dante Moore going first overall to the Cardinals. Mendoza up there at number 3. For us, we are picking, I think, 14. We're currently slated to get Mansour Delane from LSU. Would not hate that. That's a nice corner. Don't know if corners are our biggest need at that spot. We have Carson Beck potentially going in the first round. What? Okay, well, I mean, they write off a name, cross out a name that we could potentially consider. We need center, but I'm probably not going to draft a center at that spot. We could go pass rush for sure. I mean, just one kind of last look. We need a center. Probably going to have to use maybe that 2nd round pick if we want to find a starting center there. We need, running back sooner than later, but I think for the time being, we can survive with that for a year. So center on the offensive side of the ball. Defensively, again, we can rock and roll with that 1-2 punch there. Pass rush, we have like surplus. Even I think it might make more sense for us to kind of make Van Ginkel more of like that hybrid linebacker rusher. So like Van Ginkel and Cashman could be at linebacker, Grenard and Turner at pass rush. Need a safety. Obviously, we just used Caleb Downs in the rebuild, so that's kind of annoying. But safety at some point, and yeah, you know what? We could definitely use a corner. Now look at it. You put Rodgers in the slot, Murphy in another corner on the outside. So Delane from that mock draft might make a lot of sense. But we're not going to trade up. We're going to sit and wait at pick number 14. Mock draft kind of holds through. Everyone goes as expected. So for us, again, we have a pick of the litter at center. We scouted the two top centers. Jake apparently slaughters a very offensive name in Logan Jones. Both look great. If we want to look at, Arvell Reese is still there, top 5 talent player. But we got Delane and Terrell. Obviously, we're a zone defense. So which one of honestly, the tiebreaker might be which one of these guys has a better zone. And we have B zone on Terrell, but at 5'11". To be honest, Terrell does look like the better fit for us. So what we got to do? All things equal, welcome to the Minnesota Vikings. The brother of AJ Terrell, very talented corner from the Falcons. We got Avien Terrell, who actually had like 5 or 6, like something insane. Forced fumbles this year for Clemson's defense. So don't think because of kind of slight size, this guy's not a playmaker. Does the dirty work, and he's going to be a lockdown player for us. All right, we get to the second round here. We might be able to grab a center. I didn't see a center. Like, is Slaughter still there? I don't think he went in the first round. Damn it! All right, changing around. Safeties. We have Wheatley. Not a scheme fit. Like, none of these guys are, like, Halsey's actually been a very productive player. None of these guys are great scheme fits by any means. What about strong safety? Jalen Kilgore. Not a good year for safeties for what we're looking for. And we obviously have a very niche defense. Malik Muhammad could be a good pick. Just doubling up on corner. Yeah. What to do here? Our Mason Thomas, that would be good. He's a hell of a pass rusher. Overton's still good value to be available. Man, I was really hoping one of those centers would be there. Damn. Damon Claiborne at running back. Is he the fastest running back in the class? 4.26. Ooh! That could be fun. Oh, that could be fun. And he's a scheme fit. Or we look at the quarterbacks. Cade Klubnik, Carson Beck, Nussmeier, Sawyer Robertson, Drew Aller, Trinidad Chambliss. I'd love to get a quarterback in the third round. That's where I'm at. Do any of these quarterbacks have like... Oh yeah, you don't get that info. All right, I'm gonna go Claiborne here. Damon Claiborne, fastest running back. Don't love our running back room. First round pick, 32 at true value at 40. No dev trade. Sick. Which means fuck, I'm gonna have to play him so he can get offensive rookie of the year. Try to. I think I know what I'm gonna do here. Look at the board. I want to keep our third round pick. So I want also the first pick of the third round of the Cardinals is costing us our third next year, as well as our next 3 fourth round picks. Very vibes of like the Lions Isaac Tesla trade. But for this, I think it's going to be worth it. After seeing what this kid could do, Trinidad Chambliss for Ole Miss. Carrying that program with no head coach. I'm thinking that if we have to find someone that can come in and compete, probably not too many quarterbacks available in this pile that have dev traits. My plan was Drew Aller. He went earlier. So I was like, all right, maybe more topical name. We do like there's no dev trait there. Because there was a chance. I remember when I drafted Diego Pavia with the Pittsburgh Steelers, I thought for sure there's going to be a dev trait. He was like a 66, 67 normal, somewhere in that range. But we now have a quarterback that can come in and compete. We now have a quarterback that may be the guy that Kevin O'Connell's QB guru-ship can tap into. But a brutal roll, as because of that trade, I didn't want to retrade up, as Torian York, 75 to the Bengals, and Malik Muhammad, 76 to the Steelers. Both would have been 1 and 2 for my board here. Okay, well. None of the centers are scheme fits. Great. Shout out Pat Coogan for winning Player of the Rose Bowl. Okay, let's see here. I mean, Kyle Lewis is a scheme fit, so is Perkins. Rodriguez, obviously, Heisman contender, but Kyle Lewis could be the guy here in the third round. Let's go with it. Kyle Lewis at a Pitt, dog. Puts up big-time numbers last 2 years. Perfect scheme fit, exactly what we're looking for. Fuck yeah, dev trait. Let's go. All right, lovely. Still in salary cap hell. In the red after the draft. Love that so much. Looking at our recap, though, pretty damn happy with this class. Terrell, 76 dev trait, will be a day one starter. Claiborne, 74. No dev trait, but I think we all can admit with that athletic profile, let's get him on the field as soon as we possibly can. Chambliss, 67. So it gives up about 4 or 5 overall points to JJ McCarthy. But he has a dev trait. We're going to let him come in and compete. I'm going to try my best, probably try to get him that gold medal in training camp, which should be a point or 2. We get Kyle Lewis. He's going to be our Ivan Pace replacement, 71 with a dev trait. We get Deuce Chestnut here, safety to Syracuse. And we get our long snapper with a terrible rating, which we will adjust to make him like a 60 or something. For some reason, they're glitched in these classes. Well, talking about wins, gold medal for... Well, you guess who? Who do you think it was? Wasn't the quarterback. Someone on defense. Ladies and gentlemen, maybe the most important piece of our defense going forward. Dallas Turner! Gold medal, dev trade upgrade. Fuck yeah. Come on, get the gold medal kid. Get the gold medal kid. Oh, that's not going to do it. We need a bullseye. Last throw. Oh, no. That wasn't even close. Damn. All right, I'm going to go with the young buck. I mean, there's not a big difference here, 69 to 71. And I think we need to usher in a new era. Now, we couldn't figure and find everybody that we needed. So we got Harris late in free agency to start at center. But I feel pretty good about the rest of the offensive line. I'm going to go with Claiborne at the running back spot. I mean, if it had a dev trade, this would look a lot better. But, I mean, Jones is regressing. And I feel like you have a limited ceiling with Jordan Mason. Jordan Mason will still be our power back. But we got to get the electrifying Claiborne out there. How do you fix Justin Jefferson? Well, I'm gonna have to, try to. The first easy fix is try to cheese it, because obviously, when you're simming and you're not playing the Vikings, you're just kind of looking from the outside in. From a Madden standpoint, the Vikings, you don't have Justin Jefferson in the slot. Maybe that's what you need. Maybe the slot guy is a guy that eats, and maybe you might get a little Jamar Chase in the slot, right? Jamar Chase doesn't usually go in the slot or the Bengals, but when you put him in the slot, the Bengals, you literally break the game. In our Bengals rebuild, we had 2,300 yards, 30 touchdowns with Jamar Chase in the slot. I wonder if that's the easiest fix for Justin Jefferson. So I'm going to put him there, full disclosure. Everything else is kind of going to line up nicely. I mean, we get the huge dev trade increase there for Dallas Turner. That is gigantic. We're going to go Cashman, Luis, and is that, if I'm Canadian, that'd be Kyle Lewis. It's probably Kyle Lewis because it's American. I love Louis. Louis sounds better. But him, I moved Van Ginkel to Sam as well. He's going to be an off-ball linebacker, hybrid type guy. I had to sign Burgess. Much like at center, we just couldn't find starters at every single position, so we have a couple one-year rentals. Allen and Redmond. Excited to see what Redmond can do, bringing him back. And then we're going to go Murphy, Isaiah Rodgers, and Terrell as our 3 corners. I think priority 1 is, it'll be a twofer. If we can get Justin Jefferson going in the slot, I'd say that's going to yield pretty good returns for Chambliss as a rookie. But hey, as we always like to do when we have a rookie quarterback, let's see what happens in their NFL debut. Very difficult. Monday night primetime on the road at Soldier Field. What can Trinidad Chambliss do? Is he going to impress the world? Is he going to give everybody optimism? Or are we going to have not a great performance and we got to consider maybe JJ McCarthy at some point? All right, let's see an NFL debut against a very turnover-hungry Chicago Bears defense, and first drive of Chambliss' NFL career yields a field goal. Love to see our defense put Caleb Williams in hell. Ooh, a couple decent drives, but we're sputtering out in the red zone. Don't love this. Down 21-3. Looks like there was a turnover there. All right, let's come in here. 4th and 1. Let's leave here with something. Obviously, with Chambliss, you have great dual threat ability. What the fucking play is that, dude? There we go, Chambliss. Slant to Justin Jefferson. Yeah. Finish strong. Definitely not the way you want to go, but realistically, you know, quarterbacks' first starts are never pretty. On the road, big primetime game. I think what makes Chambliss so intriguing is how big he's played when the lights are brightest. I mean, 224, 68% completion percentage, 2 touchdowns and a pick. Not terrible. Claiborne was fine. Justin, hey, there you go. Moving in the slot. Look at that first game. We will take that. Defensively, Jalen Redmond, 2 TFLs, 2 sacks. Love seeing that. But a lot of work needs to be done. Ooh, beat the Dolphins week 3. What do we have here? Superstar quarterbacks share multiple things. Kevin O'Connell immediately taking the young buck Trinidad Chambliss, the rookie of Ole Miss. Kevin O'Connell, known as a quarterback whisperer. He's done a lot of magic. Come on. Shit. There's no, I mean, maybe. He didn't throw picks. How'd you feel about that game? There's got to be some bumps. All right. Okay. A lot of green. A lot of green for the Yankees at the bottom. Now, once we go past the bye, we're probably going to go into like the teens, low teens. Still fine with low teens. Now, I don't know why we're getting a quarterback breakout scenario on a bye week. I don't know if that means it's just going to be a waste. But offensive coordinator Dan Kugler keeps singing Trinidad Chambliss. Going to take that next step. So I'm hoping we come out of the bye week ahead of Tampa Bay. And we'll have a second opportunity to raise that dev trade up. Nope. Okay. Look at our contracts here. We have Jordan Addison, who we absolutely want to re-sign. Brian O'Neill, Van Ginkel would be interesting. Isaiah Rodgers certainly is also interesting. Blake Cashman's a start. Now, some of these guys are right on that cutoff of, you know, do we re-sign the veteran or do we maybe try to look at a young person? But I think Isaiah Rodgers on a 1 year would be really, really reasonable. It may be fair to assume that Van Ginkel is going to lose that dev trade. But, I mean, that's not a crazy salary cap hit. $49 million. We don't have a whole lot of operating room here. But we're going to start Jordan Addison. He kind of has to get the bag. I think Brian O'Neill also kind of has to get the bag here. 3 years, 73.5. I think Van Ginkel at this price point is really reasonable if he wants to stay for 2 years. Just kind of keep him as like that weird hybrid linebacker. Isaiah, we can't pay everybody. Damn. All right. So I think it's time at the trade deadline we make a move for McCarthy. The Steelers were interested. I think that a second-round pick is probably what it could be. I don't think they really need a running back, but it's in their top 5 team needs. Mason's also in a contract here. We're probably not going to re-sign him. So we will take advantage of this deal and send a team that's never, ever bad enough to get a swing at a potential franchise quarterback, and maybe they'll be able to salvage and find something in JJ McCarthy. Okay. Well, you know, starting the year with a rookie sub-70 overall quarterback going 8-9, back exactly where we were a year ago. Annoying, but look at the ratings. Top 10 offensively. We beat the shit out of the Falcons. Look at this stat line here. Justin Jefferson in the slot. We solved it. 8 catches, 140. He had 5 touchdowns in one game. Is that a record? That has got to be a record. Second leading receiver. Put him in the slot and can fix Justin Jefferson. So he ties Jerry Rice's record of 5. Pretty insane. We're going to ignore Lenore Sellers as another rookie from this class, breaking and shattering a rookie passing record. Also, shout out Ruben Bain getting on that list. But as you know, we got ourselves, anytime you pretty much play any rookie, you got to get some points. And we got upgrades here. 28,000 XP for 3,500 yards passing for Seamus. I don't think we went over 30 touchdowns. And knowing our house rules, we have to invest all of these points into a scheme fit, which is making this young man a field general quarterback. All right, pretty close. 77 overall, but a 76 field general. And you know what? With the trade of JJ McCarthy, we are fully committed to Mr. Chambliss. Let's make him a team captain. We've gone up +1 throw power. He was an 89. Now we get up to 90. So we kind of, broke that threshold a little bit. Obviously, short accuracy. That's on point. Has some boost working under O'Connell here. But cautiously optimistic. I'll look at the final stat line. It's nothing crazy, right? 3,900 yards. We round that up. 28 touchdowns to 9 picks is a good rookie season. It's not like he's MVP. It's not like, completely reinvented his game. His rushing numbers. I actually think we should have probably better rushing numbers. You imagine like a playbook should translate real life. JJ McCarthy scrambles. Didn't quite get that out of Chambliss, but a nice year from Claiborne, the rookie. 1,100 yards, 7 touchdowns. Pretty good. Receiving, Justin, we got our 2,000-yard receivers, which you like, especially after re-signing Jordan Addison with our limited budget. But, ladies and gentlemen, put Justin Jefferson in the slot. Even if he didn't have that big 5-touchdown game, he still would have had, 1,300 yards and 12 touchdowns, which I would have been very fine with. But he pops off here. Put Justin Jefferson in the slot. If you're rebuilding the Vikings, it will save him. This offensive scheme can work. I will say, Hockenson, we might have to trade him. Our salary cap is tight, and we're just not going to utilize a tight end, I don't think. I think there's probably more room for Felton to pick up the production a little bit. So I don't know what the market would be for Hockenson. I think we could potentially be sized. I'm not going to force a trade, but we got to at least see what's out there. From a tackle standpoint, Kyle Lewis, 125 tackles, 7 TFLs, leading the team. We had 11.5 sacks, Jalen Redmond, 10.5 Grenard, 10 from Dallas Turner, 8.5 from John Allen. So our defensive line, 8. Which I love to see that. Byron Murphy with 5 picks, 3 from Isaiah Rodgers, who I would like to re-sign. We got no bucks. But with him getting over 100 tackles, that might be a dev trade increase for him. And Justin Jefferson, runner-up offensive player of the year. But at least we got him back in that conversation. Wasn't going to be anybody else. Chambliss wins offensive rookie of the year. Claiborne, runner-up. I will say, though, I don't, if we get to dev trade, it'd be off of this award alone. I'm kind of saying 50-50. But if he does get a dev trade and gets bumped up to a superstar, I'll be very happy with that. Drum roll, please. End of season. Chambliss gets his skill point for winning an award. Still can't make him a perfect scheme fit. I'm going to say no. I'm going to say he's still a star dev. Okay. Usually you need a little bit better of a season. Now, there's currently a bug going on where every quarterback regresses for some reason. I don't know how that bug happens, right? Who's beep-booping the numbers there? And it's like, oh, actually, we're going to have a fucking franchise mode bug come in December. Luckily, none of those are huge. We didn't lose any throw power, which is really the only thing that matters. You can make up the ground on all that regression. But, offensive rookie of the year, superstar dev, we have our franchise quarterback. Now, for the rest of the team, we got a Justin Jefferson back up to an X Factor, which is what we need to do. I think Addison, probably this whole rebuild is going to be flirting with star to superstar progression, especially if he keeps getting 1,000 yards. Really surprised Claiborne didn't go off that dev trait. I mean, you can't, we beggars can't be choosers. He's an 80 overall. We're happy with that development as a rookie. On the defensive side of the ball, we have Isaiah Rodgers gains his star dev as expected. Everything else remains the same. Terrell hidden dev for our first round pick as a star. Same with Lewis as a star. We got to decline that option and hope that our salary cap gets kind of figured out. Nice. We can get Isaiah Rodgers back on a 1 year, which is exactly what I wanted to do. But we are going to have to find a new center, a new starting linebacker, and a new free safety. We're going to shuffle around the tight end room here. Oliver is going to free about $7 million in cap. And the Saints are showing a lot of interest. That's an interesting trade. Joshua Farmer, who they got for the Patriots, 75 dev trait, 24 years old, for TJ Hockenson. So I'm going to do that deal. I'm going to throw in, however, a 2028 third, which that's a draft class. Obviously, that in 2028 we gave up a bunch of fourth-round picks. I want to kind of gain that pick back. That's going to be once we get to the Madden-generated classes as well. Could be able to do some work with that third-round pick, and we'll take Farmer. 75 star dev, not a perfect scheme fit, but with Jonathan Allen starting to face some regression, gives us at least another developmental option. Redmond's, 28 years old as well. And more importantly for us, we just didn't get a lot of production of Hockenson, and that's a salary cap dump to try to get us out of this salary cap hell that we've been in for the first 2 years of this rebuild. Actually, I'm glad I made this trade. Literally the first stage. We get Jonathan Allen. Wow, a couple guys late retirement there, so the Josh Farmer trade makes a lot more sense now. He's now a starter. Good business. Fell ass backward into that one, but we'll take it. So we're going to go to the offseason here. We need a center. We need to improve the tight end room. That's about it offensively. I feel like we're pretty good everywhere else. Defensively, I like the addition of Farmer. There's going to need to be some development there. Secondary's looking good. You need a free safety. We need another off-ball linebacker. Lewis and Van Ginkel could operate, but Ginkel's short-term, so I think finding another linebacker would be important. But S-tier need, safety, center. Got to find one. All right, take a look at free agency here. Not looking like a crazy class. Good if you need a wideout. Certainly a couple options there. Rasheed Rice doesn't always hit the open market. At tight end, we have Mr. Brenton Strange, 2679 dev trait. Could look towards the draft. Michael Mayer's also there. Ooh. See, I'm just at a spot where if tight end's not going to eat, I don't really want to just be like, oh, let's draft one. I don't really want to use a big-time draft pick. I think this one might make sense right here. Not overpay, anything crazy. But Michael Mayer, guy that everyone always thought had an opportunity, and that could give us like a affordable. It's not cheap, but that is a affordable tight end. Center, what do we got? Ugh, Jenkins, he usually retires after year one. We could bring back like on a 1 year local guy, John Michael Schmitz out of the University of Minnesota. Kind of be like a stopgap Band-Aid guy. Don't want to overpay there. Defensive line. Yeah. Ooh, Brian Brzee hits the market. 13.5 per year. Pretty expensive. But Redmond's getting a contract year. This is his last year of his deal. We only signed him on a 2-year. Probably not going to re-sign him. We got linebacker. Ooh, 14 per. That is a lot. Trenton Simpson could be considerably cheaper. 8. Let's do something like this. We'll go Trenton Simpson. Where does that put us? I mean, we can find a linebacker, I think, if we need to. Safety. 27, that's kind of... Let's just see where this puts us. All right, we got 2 starters, 2 low-end starters, and it at least gives us a little bit more direction on where we should go with our premier picks in the draft. All right, so take a look at the final mock draft. Yep, I have a couple ideas. Here. We did scout some linebackers. Sammy Brown from Clemson is an absolute stud. Can we live with draft? You know, we pick a 9. Right? Can we live with that? Do we consider, is this a time to be aggressive? Do we trade up for a Dylan Stewart? Do we kind of view Jonathan Grenard on the way out? This is for Dylan Stewart, a S-tier prospect. We've never had a chance to bring him in any realistic rebuild. That could be, you know, that could be something like we sim pick by pick by pick. We wait and see. And if it is still, you know, pick 7 and he's on the clock, we may have to pick up the phone and call him. If not, I mean, we could go corner if we wanted to again. You know, long term, like Ellis Robinson, Colton Hood, they would be very interesting. But if not, linebacker Sammy Brown is an absolute A-tier linebacker prospect. He would walk in and be for sure an every down starter for us. I have a plan. I have a blueprint. But I didn't think Dylan Stewart would be attainable. All right, so this is where the mock draft is starting to get a little crazy. I'm going to call the New York Giants. I'm not going to lie. I thought this would be declined. A first and a third to move up. I mean, we are only moving up 2 spots. I did not think a third-round pick next year, which we had 2 third-round picks, was going to be even remotely close. I usually like to overpay, but maybe this will be the one time we tote the line, because I do have a plan. We do have 2 second-round picks this year, and if this thing kind of goes as the plan, I'm going to need those 2 second-round picks, I think. Well, that's not true. Those guys still aren't available, right? Jeremiah Smith still... Okay, like I say, I didn't think that. If Jeremiah Smith is still available, we're going to have to pivot here very quickly. But looking at the board, we have actually pick of the litter here between Colin Simmons and Dylan Stewart, but I've yet to be able to get my hands on Dylan Stewart. Insane player ever since a true freshman in South Carolina. A finesse move, C power, C block shed, the combine, elites up and down the board. Pains me to do this, as Jonathan Gennard only spent 1 year with my Florida Gators, but was real damn good. I think he was a Louisville transfer. Maybe we honestly might trade him. Might get some value. Dylan Stewart, number 2 in true value at pick number 7. We already seen in the sim too, our D-line gets pressure. This is going to raise that floor. Dylan Stewart on one side. Dallas Turner on the other. Superstar Dallas Turner. Oh, baby, this is going to be scary. Purple People Eaters are back. I'm going to spoil it. Now, it's a little bit of a wet fart because I think yesterday he announced he's in the portal. But Koi Perich, we need a safety. Minnesota became a stud at Minnesota. I want him. So I'm going to trade one of our seconds, our highest second, as well as a third way down the road, which I'm sure when we get to 2029, I'm going to forget about this and be like, why the hell don't I have any picks? But with that, we're going to be able to trade up to the second pick of the first round, which makes it that much easier. That first pick of the second round, one of the most difficult picks to trade for. But we need a replacement for Harrison Smith. Koi Perich, very versatile two-way player, can play offense, but mainly a defensive player. Ball hawk, just outside a top 10 player. Absolute stud. Let's go. Now we're in a spot where we need another linebacker. And I don't really, none of these safeties are really linebackers. Spears, hybrid maybe. We did scout Whit Weeks. Not great value. He's disciplined. He does show good discipline, which is good to know. We have Vilemu Asa from Notre Dame, who also shows good discipline. And we scouted Austin Romaine from K-State, who is the best value, but he lacks discipline. So I'm thinking right now we're going to go and get Jim Rat, Lunch Pail, Whit Weeks, 101 at 54, but he has a lot of discipline. He's good athletic profile, depth trait linebacker. I mean, let's just keep ordering. We could use another RB2. We don't have, Mason and Aaron Jones anymore. Let's go Darius Taylor. Ooh, thought he'd be a little bit higher rated. So, take a look at our draft recap. Very, very happy with the haul that we get. I mean, a couple depth here, Metcalf and Taylor. Whit Weeks, 70 with a depth trait. Might be able to find his way on the field. 70 maybe a little bit low for a second-round pick by our own high standards. But we get Koi Perich, 76 with a depth trait. And we're able to get a rare blue-chip talent in this second draft, which I think it's been few and far between. Like, if I'm looking at big names I can use in rebuilds, they're almost all the big name players in 2027. We get one here in Dylan Stewart, 81 depth trait. And he's also, for what it's worth, a scheme fit as well. Jonathan Grenard now is a little bit surplus. Got some interesting potential deals. Dax Hill, I mean, that could make sense. Seems like he's kind of on the outs there at Cincinnati. Mike Hall at D tackle. Certainly an option. I like Sammer still. I know he kind of had a down year. He could solve a lot of issues in our secondary. 26. I don't know what his contract year is, though. I assume he's in a contract year. That's why they're willing to ship him off. Got Moten there. Got Charbonnet, Tariq Woolen, Skaronski at guard. And a fourth round. Is that the best pick? Do we have anything higher than a fourth? I might have to take that deal there from the Titans. I was like, can I throw in Will Freeze? Because that would be, you know, the like for replacement. I didn't know his cap it. That is an insane cap it. Oh, no. Okay, we can't do that trade. Carolina was interested. You think they'd accept that for the old horn dog? Oh, okay, let me see. Hey, okay. They wanted him. I'm going to throw in Isaiah Rodgers. Didn't really want to, but it gives them a little bit of corner help. A second and third round pick this year, so our draft, we got to hit on that first round pick because we're not going to have anything else. But Grenard's a double-digit sack guy. Horn dog, you know. This is it's a good trade. Both sides. Maybe you'd be a little disappointed. You're a Panther fan, you didn't get more. But takes two to tango, and they're getting a sack specialist, and we're getting a starting outside corner. So now after that huge trade, when we go into year number 3, actually we got 2 upgrade points. We got a silver medal for Chambliss. I did not hit the gold medal, but we will take 2 because one of those now makes him a perfect scheme fit. Beautiful. Brings him to a 78. Love to see that. But we make those big changes offensively. You know, I think it's the yin and yang. Maybe we got undersold a little bit for TJ Hockenson in that trade. Maybe we could have got a little bit more. We bring in Michael Mayer. There's an obvious downgrade there, but that's just, again, we can now have a little bit of breathing room with our salary cap situation. Defensively, the opportunity to get Dylan Stewart now had, like, you know, the cause and effect that we could then go out and get J.C. Horn. I think the only thing weird about that, I mean, the context is the Panthers haven't made the playoffs. Like, they haven't been particularly good, so they would be maybe a team that's desperate to, like, change something up. And J.C. Horn's not like I'm getting an X Factor or a superstar corner, but he's still a very good player. I'm a big fan, going all the way back to our Panthers series. But this is very much, you know, an expensive player that hasn't really been a difference maker for that Panthers team. And maybe they're like, all right, like maybe we'll give up a little bit in the secondary. Let's get after with the pass rush. And we have, what, back-to-back years of John Grenard. He's 20-plus sacks over the last 2 years. Now, he's a little bit older, 3 years older than J.C. Horn, but then that's also why we traded a second and third round pick. Those are premier draft capital picks. You would never throw a first round pick in that trade. And I really like the look of this. I like the look of this defense now. We're going to obviously, we have Whit Weeks at linebacker with Lewis and Van Ginkel, Redmond and Farmer. That's going to be interesting to see how they play together. Farmer, we have... All right, the brutal house rules continue. We have to invest in him as a scheme fit, so we got a long ways to go there, but I'm very optimistic that this team, back-to-back 8 and 9 seasons with the draft and moves that we just made, we should absolutely be a 10-win team minimum. Okay, first 4 games, 2-2, but we're coming off 2 straight wins. We got a big win over the Green Bay Packers in the division with a Trinidad Chambliss Offensive Player of the Week. 343 yards, 4 touchdowns, no turnovers. Again, not really getting the scrambling numbers I think we should, but it's pretty good. But I want to get ahead of some of these contracts. Finally, our salary cap is not an absolute shitter. We got a bargain for Dallas Turner. Not going to think twice about that. Byron Murphy up to a superstar. I think if he wants a 1 year, we're not going to spend that money probably elsewhere, so we will bring him back. I think Jalen Redmond's also been a successful player for us. Let's maybe go 2-year... 26 done. Oh, just throwing money around. We have Schmitz. I think, again, now that we're going to get to the Madden generated classes, we could probably find like a scheme fit center. I mean, come on. Hollywood Tech, Chaz Chambliss, Utah Yetis, Chaz Chambliss. Need him to be a part. Man, he's a glue guy. Reichert at kicker's been pretty solid. That is. We don't have enough. We do not have enough money to have an expensive kicker. Okay, well, you know, we haven't had great in-season dev trade scenarios. It's really, we peaked our first training camp with Dallas Turner, but we have a linebacker breakout after 2 straight wins over the Raiders and Bears. Raiders expected win. Bears always a little difficult. But this is for Kyle Lewis. Star dev looking to make a jump to a superstar. 6 tackles, sack, INT, forced fumble. See if we can get one that has maybe TFL. So he's not a big sack guy. Yeah, let's do this one. Totally attainable. It's bad news. We lose to the Chiefs. 5-4. Still on pace for 10 wins. Do we have a superstar linebacker? No. No, we do not. Nice XP boost. So this season's kind of gone like beat the teams we're supposed to beat, lose to like the playoff teams, lost to Kansas City, lost to Denver, but we're back in the win column, 42-20 over the Cardinals, and it is a second Offensive Player of the Week performance from Chambliss. Yeah, I mean, kind of justifying now that he's a superstar quarterback. Ooh, we are now 9-5. We have our third Offensive Player of the Week for Chambliss. We close the season with a big win over the New York Giants, who are kind of now like a juggernaut in Madden Sim, and it is another Offensive Player of the Week for Trinidad Chambliss, 4 on the year. But for a team overall, I mean, 11-6, I wanted 10 wins. You look at our ratings offensively, if we're looking at points and passing yards, pretty solid. Defensively, pretty solid. Love the fact that we make that trade for J.C. Horn, and we have the number 3 passing defense, which is nice. Take a look at the stats. Chambliss, not crazy yards. I will take 40 touchdowns every day of the week. Again, yards not crazy, and the fact that our rush yards were not great either. Like, usually there's the trade-off there. If you don't have a lot of pass yards, you make up the yards rushing. We did not get 1,000 yards for Claiborne. Chambliss did have 3 rushing touchdowns, so that's going to give us 43 touchdowns on the year. Very good. We have 1,200 yards, 19 touchdowns for Justin Jefferson. Didn't get 2,000-yard receivers. Very close for Jordan Addison. Only had 1 receiving touchdown, and it was Ty Felton, the wide receiver 3, who had 13 receiving touchdowns. Michael Mayer with a really good stat line. Honestly, that's better production than what we're getting out of TJ Hockenson. So we're ahead on that front as well. Defensively, Whit Weeks and Lewis tackle machines. Our sack production is fine. 9.5 on 10 TFLs for Dylan Stewart. That should put him in contention for Defensive Rookie of the Year. 9.5 Jalen Redmond. 8 from Dallas Turner on 14 TFLs. You know, fine. Not great, but fine. Terrell and Horn Dog, both with 4 interceptions. I love to see that. Where's Koi Perich? What did he do? 93 tackles, a TFL. Plus, and the bummer for him, not a scheme fit at all. I've been pumping all of our points into run support. So if we were just not abiding by house rules, he'd probably be 2 or 3 overall points higher. Justin Herbert wins MVP, but it's the first time that Mr. Chambliss is on the short list. Did not see Whit Weeks beating out Dylan Stewart, but okay. But that was it for our award winners. So we got a motivated team here who hosts the 10-7 LA Rams. And it's, you know, strength on strength. They have a good pass offense. We have a good pass defense. Overall, I think we have slightly better scheme. They might have a slightly better roster. Should be a close game. Love to get the first playoff win of the Chambliss era. Let's see here. Sound the horn. Vikings, one of those teams playoff cursed. Never won a Super Bowl, so we're trying to achieve the impossible. Here in today's video, I like to think Chambliss trying to do the same with Ole Miss. Maybe a little foresight that if he can do what he's doing with Ole Miss, maybe he can bring that magic to the NFL. 7-7 tied ball game. Settle for a field goal. Opening drive of the second half. Damn. I mean, we need more than 10 points. Can't. I mean, here we go. End of game drive. No chance, man. How you fucking scored 10 points? Brutal. Defense did decent job. You know, you'd like to think in a playoff situation you hold a team to 17. Where's Justin Jefferson at? He lost to Mac Jones. Chambliss, 1 touchdown, 1 pick. Not a great. And I mean, for what I don't think, again, you look at every realistic rebuild we've done. Once we get into the playoffs and we do these play the moment sims, maybe 100 games. I'd say 5 or less have our run game actually look good in the sim when we play that. Yeah, Justin Jefferson, 2 catches, 18 yards. Just as much on him as it is the quarterback. You cannot be Justin Jefferson and do that. Shout out Dylan Stewart. Shout out Whit Weeks. I mean, the defense did their job. Offense let us down. That's a very disappointing performance. And the Bills win another Super Bowl, and I think that's another Super Bowl that Taylor Rapp is the MVP. Wow. Taylor Rapp, ladies and gentlemen. A surprise retirement for the Vikings. Brian O'Neill retires after 10 years. I was thinking, like, oh boy, $100 million of salary cap. And then it's like, oh, wait a minute. What happened? Okay. Jot down offensive tackle as now our top need going into the draft. Probably not going to find one in free agency. For our team offensively, we're looking at from a dev trait. No one went up or down. Thought maybe Michael Mayer outside chance. But we are going to need a center, as Schmitz is just on a 1 year. We're going to need to replace Brian O'Neill at right tackle. I feel comfortable about saying, yes, we should be able to find a center. Tackle, that is going to be very difficult. We may need to trade up. Defensively, Whit Weeks goes from star to superstar. Dylan Stewart was a superstar out the gate. Koi Perich is a star. Avien Terrell. There we go. There's the big winner. Former first-round pick gets his superstar dev trait. Feeling real good about the state of the defense right now. So we are going to decline the 5th-year option on Donovan Jackson because anytime you're going into year 4 with no playoff success, you almost have to be thinking this might be an L rebuild that we have to come back and rebuild at some point. So we got to treat it as such. I think getting Jackson to a long-term extension would be very important. Outside of that, again, understanding we're not paying a kicker, even though he's a very good kicker. Just can't. We've been in salary cap hell. You don't pay. If I had $200 million of cap, maybe. Let's hope we can pool all our money together and we get a good free agency roll where we can just sign a tackle. All right, go on, give me a roll. Oh, okay. Okay, I got our needs here. Center, tackle, D-tackle, corner. Corner very much like a secondary need just because our guys are getting old. We're not going to be able to spend money there, I don't think. No, we're good there. Defensive tackle. I'm hoping that we can kind of get some nose tackle cheese, if you know what I mean. Jordan Davis will be sick, but not at $23 million a year. 15, even for Michael Hall. That's not... These are very expensive players. But for us, we need a tackle, and boy, oh boy, did we get a roll there. And medium interest, so like we have a chance. He's having, I mean, that's the best offer. I'm not. We now have the best tackles in the league. Joe Alt on one side, Darisaw on the other. Let's go. And we'll come back to the point. I think the reality is there's probably not a gigantic discrepancy. We still had, what, 2 years left on Brian O'Neill. Like, Brian O'Neill's money and Joe Alt's money is probably not a huge difference. And we just got a lot more upside. And we're going to move him back to his... not natural, but he started his rookie career as a right tackle, going back to right tackle. But shout out New Orleans, getting Brian Branch. That's a huge get. Shout out the Giant. That would never happen. That would never happen. All right, so going into the draft, we scouted both centers. There's only 2 centers that look good. And, well, we very much want Rashawn Leonard. Could we get him in the 2nd round? We'll be interested to see. I will take a peek at the mock draft. And then I look, we have corners, another need. There's only one corner that was a scheme fit. And... it looked pretty good here. Mr. Dakota Hurst, a legitimate first rounder. So is there a way to manipulate the board to get Hurst in the 1st round, get that center in the 2nd round? Leonard is going in the 1st round. And Hurst, we're picking at 23. Hurst is going, yeah, we can't get either one. So I think we're just got to suck it up. Take the unsexy center pick at pick 23. At the board, I mean, other premium positions are still there. But, I mean, that's a solid center player. No matter what way you're looking at it. A pass block, legit 1st round talent. 26 at 23, and we get a dev trade. Very nice set and forget. Offensive line with also the addition of Joe Alt. We're good. Oh, fuck yeah, I remember I was going to say this. We didn't have a pick to the 5th round. Great. If I'm looking for BPA, we have Jonathan Cook here on the offensive line. Looks just pretty good. He's also a scheme fit at guard. I'm thinking maybe that Freeze. Will Fries. Fries in the bag. That could be cheap. We also need a D tackle. And if we're looking for nose tackle cheese. Just like no draftable ones. Carmichael there. Do we have anybody? Ooh, Carmichael, BC. Let's get the guard. Get the guard. We'll come back to the D tackle. 34, almost a 1st round pick. Let's go. We'll go this nose tackle. The other one's gone. So we have Alex Turner, who put up 1st place bench press reps, and he's the fastest. These guys are pretty good. Now, he does lack discipline, which we want disciplined playmakers, but I think the rating's going to be pretty damn good. Oh, take a look at our draft recap. Leonard, 75 dev trade center, 75 dev trade guard, 74 6th-round pick. Feel a lot better. We also needed a kicker, obviously, to replace Reichert. 69 there for Dion Bentley's not too bad. Looking at the class overall, not a crazy class. Where's Hurst? That was the corner we wanted. Just out of curiosity. Gets overdrafted by the Bucks. Was it worth it for them to overdraft? Damn. So we're now year 4. Just getting a little worried that this might turn into a year 5 Super Bowl or bust, but I feel pretty good offensively, right? We go out, and maybe it's not a sexy draft spot to get a center in the first round. I don't know, when was the last center draft? Was Linderbaum a first-round pick for the Ravens? I can't remember, but with that is really the only missing piece, right? You get Leonard, you get the top free agent available in Joe Alt, on top of the fact of the importance of us replacing Brian O'Neill right away with an upgrade, and giving us the best 2 tackles in the NFL. I think that's going to open things up for the offense, for Chambliss to take his game to another level. I think it's going to open things up for maybe Claiborne to finally get 1,000 yards. That'd be very nice. But we're going to continue with Justin Jefferson in the slot. That seems to be a great combination. Michael Mayer already, even though you can just discard the rating. He's giving us better production than what we had and was getting out of TJ Hockenson. You look at the defense. Turner and Stewart as 2 superstar pass rushers. We got Whit Weeks, Kyle Lewis, Van Ginkel at linebacker, Redmond and Farmer on the defensive line, Metellus and Koi Perich at safety, the Horn Dog, superstar Byron Murphy, superstar Terrell at corner. There is not a weakness on this team, offense, defense. 11-6 last year. That is our basement floor, bare minimum expectation here in year number 4. You know what? While the going's hot, let's talk about our contracts real early. We are 3-0, a perfect start to the season. You know, a couple winnable games there for sure. But hey, 3-0 is 3-0. Take a look at our contracts here. 130 available. Happy that we're able to find that winning combination for Justin Jefferson that he's happy enough to re-sign. Right now, with the current trajectory of that Vikings offense with McCarthy and whoever the hell, I bet you he doesn't want to stay around in Minnesota a whole lot longer. So we rectified that, which is good. We have Donovan Jackson. We declined his 5th-year option so we could pay him. It's a lot of money for a guard, but I think his ceiling's into the 90s, so that is worth paying for. I think Byron Murphy on a 1-year rental, getting him back here for year 5 is going to be good for the secondary. Keep all those guys together. What's the magic number? 63. I mean, Felton just had double-digit touchdowns. So there's value in him. All 3 of these guys staying together. They all do 3 jumps. So I think that's a good contract value-wise. Metellus, Farmer's just not a scheme fit. I can't make that a thing. Metellus is probably at that point of no return from a regression standpoint. So I think we're going to let them walk. See this midseason big win over the Falcons. It is J.C. Horn finally justifying that trade with a huge 2 INT day, getting NFC Defensive Player of the Week. So the NBA number 4, we go 12-5. So it's better, an improvement. Look at the ratings. Green, 2nd points. Top 5 passing. Almost top 10 rushing. Where our rushing has been bottom 5 for like the last couple of years. Defense is on point. However, we are gone through 4 years. We have yet to win the NFC North. Somehow Green Bay has a tiebreaker. I'm pretty sure we split the regular season with them 1-1. But, you know, you always like to accumulate as many accolades as you can. But right there, look at that. Justin Jefferson. We have fixed and solved the Justin Jefferson situation where he's not good in Madden. Just put him in the slot. Probably Jamar Chase was also put in the slot. Pearsall of the Rams probably also put in the slot. It's still an issue. It is what it is. But look at Chambliss, top 5, pretty much quarterback. 4,100 yards, 36 touchdowns to 4 picks for our superstar. Love seeing that. Claiborne finally goes over 1,000 yards, 13 touchdowns. Did have 4 fumbles, which you don't like, but man, oh man, Joe Alt. And a new center. Oh, which I got to show you something about that center. Certainly helping the entire offense. Justin Jefferson crushed it, over 100 catches, 1,600 yards, 22 touchdowns, 1,000 yards for Jordan Addison. Felton was, 12 less touchdowns than he had a year ago. Michael Mayer was solid. The offensive line was very good. But look at Rashawn Leonard, our center in the first round. If you're going to draft the center in the first round, they might as well be a superstar, Dev. So we had a superstar center and a superstar tackle in Joe Alt. And now, surprisingly, the offense is playing as good as it ever has. On the defensive side of the ball, Whit Weeks and Lewis were tackle machines. We got 13 sacks from Dylan Stewart on 12 TFLs. Almost 100 tackles. That is an absurd stat line for the all-world edge rusher from South Carolina. 11.5 sacks for Dallas Turner. 8.5 for Jalen Redmond. Love that. INTs, Terrell with 4. Horndog with 3. Metellus and Perich with 2. We're getting there, man. Top 3 in MVP voting. Chambliss. Let's go. Justin Jefferson gets Offensive Player of the Year as well as Wide Receiver of the Year. Before anyone might even be like, that trade with J.C. Horn, so dumb. Grenard, runner-up for Defensive Player of the Year, thriving with the Panthers. It is a win-win trade. I love seeing Trinidad Chambliss win Quarterback of the Year in the NFC. Went so close bringing home DB of the Year. First, we have a wildcard matchup against the 9-8 Arizona Cardinals with a very good defense. Top 3 defense, really good against the pass. So this is kind of a strength-on-strength matchup, and we're on the road. But we have the Quarterback of the Year. They do not. We have Wide Receiver of the Year, Offensive Player of the Year. They do not. We have Superstar Pass Rusher, Superstar Offensive Lineman. The Cardinals do not. Come on, boys. We can win an ugly game. We have a team built to win an ugly game, but I'd like to, flex our muscles a little bit here offensively. 7 points. Like the Vikings are cursed? We're almost cursed. That is... I mean, very important to get the first win of this era in year 4. Get your first little playoff win, but underperforming. Neither unit really played great. I guess the defense holding to the 10 points is a win, but they weren't a particularly good offense, led by Dante Moore, Oregon's quarterback there. Chambliss touchdown and a pick. Yeah, not really a notable play. I mean, the only thing good there, you got a playoff win. Check mark there. Did have a rushing touchdown. Helps out a little bit. Addison was solid. Felton was solid. Justin Jefferson, again, that's 2 playoff games in a row. Justin Jefferson has been a non-factor. Not good. Dylan Stewart gets a big-time sack. Other than that, defense barely did anything. Got to play a lot better if we expect to go on a run here. Much tougher test awaits us here in the division round. The 12-5 Packers. We travel to Lambeau Field. It is a rivalry. We split the regular season 1-1. They have a top 10 defense, top 3 offense. A lot of stars, both sides of the ball. We just got to hope Jordan Love does Jordan Love things, which means throw a bunch of picks in a big-time game. But Green Bay can be a wagon. Absolutely can be a very difficult team that you commonly do see in championships and Super Bowls. Vikings are not. We are going against a not good scheme in Madden. We are doing our best against we're going pretty much bad scheme versus good scheme is what this matchup is. We have more talent, but, there's certainly severe issues with this offense. We are struggling to score points. Three points. And what we have against the Rams last year, 10 points in our loss. And literally, there's nothing I can do. There's no amount more of stars. I can't fucking throw more stars at the problem here. This is going to be an L, I think. I'm seeing the writing on the wall. We're going to go in year 5 optimistic, but I'm getting vibes of the Jets rebuild that we did, where it's just like, I knew coming into this, the Viking scheme fucking sucks. And it does not help when I thought Jordan Love was going to throw the turnover. Chambliss, 4 picks. You can't have a dog shit Madden scheme and throw 4 picks. Yeah. We had a Bengals rebuild, that was a win. We did a Raiders rebuild, that was a win. We did a Bucks rebuild, that was a win. Saints were the last team that we rebuilt that we didn't win a Super Bowl. I'm already started writing the L on this sheet. I don't think we can overcome this dog shit scheme. I don't think we can. I think in the sim, it works fine, but when you do the kind of watch, play the moment sim, it's a different sim experience, and this team sucks. Oh, we're stopping Green Bay. Must be I wish I had their scheme. I'm going to take a peek. Just out of curiosity, is there a new coach we could bring in? Could bring in Dan. Ooh. Oh! I'm trying to think. Saints. Dan Campbell. Stefanski. No. Ben Johnson, you're running our offense. There's our Hail Mary to try to fix this. It'll work out. We'll have Kevin O'Connell will be our quarterback guru. We have Chambliss now as a superstar X Factor, and we're going to have Ben Johnson call the plays. Because the amount of, like, we've simmed enough games where Justin Jefferson's been a non-factor, right? And there's just far too much talent for this team to be this underperforming from the sim standpoint. On the defensive side of the ball, Koi Perich takes a jump from a star up to a superstar. We lose the superstar dev on Murphy, so we kind of keep that in the building. We're going to need to replace Josh Farmer. We need a D-tackle. That is what I set for my focus scouting, so that hopefully our first-round pick will just find the cheesiest, juiciest defensive tackle that's on the board. But we're ready to run it back, man. We're going to be a dangerous team next season. Now with a brand new, maybe even the best play caller in the league. I don't know how he was available. But hopefully we'll become a wagon. Year 5, Super Bowl or bust. So we need D-tackle and a strong safety. We have $100 million almost. Yeah. All right, nothing at safety. I did see a D-tackle. There was Mr. Sanders, star dev, but he's looking for almost $25 million a year. I've just got to draft one. And we'll keep that salary cap rollover in case we don't win. We'll have a nice little bit of roster money if we have to come back and rebuild the Vikings. All right, so we start the draft. We need a safety and a D-tackle. Now, for the safeties, do we do any go yet? No, I don't. There wasn't a first-round safety, but a couple safeties look good. I think that's where we're going to go, because the D-tackles, obviously, we're at a spot where it's going to go D-tackle cheese. But for the safeties, we got a couple. We see out the top one, second, third round. We have 2 round ones there, and they're both scheme fits. Manny Guerrero, okay. Let's take a little look-see here. Griffin, okay. What about Mr. Gaithers? He's a disciplined player. Mr. Hopkins. And we have Mr. Cohen. So Cohen is a scheme fit. He has DB. Ugh. Griffin is not. Or not Griffin. We need the other guy. Mr. Gaithers. Pretty close. B-man, C-zone. Combine could be better. But I think he's going to be the best bang for our buck here. 3 Bs and a C. 27 at 26. Nice. A little bit of niche size. So maybe we'll take a couple swings here at D-tackle. Isaiah Covington looks pretty nice for, like, gives us a different body type. Don't always need nose tackle cheese. He's a speed rusher, 287, B finesse move, decent enough combine. Great. There's no one with the elites. I think we can still pair him. Oh, no. Got the dev trait. We could pair him with a nose tackle. Kind of retool that room a little bit. And then for our nose tackle cheese, we're going to get Jaleel Bernard. 37 reps on his bench. It's almost a sub-5 40. And I think with the body types, right, we're getting a yin and yang here. But the undersized, like, that's going to be our Jalen Redmond successor if we have to come back and run another rebuild. Here will be our run stuffer in Bernard. And, hopefully it'll become a nice tandem. 1-2 punch down the line. So to go in a draft recap, we're got a nice DB here, Brandon Marshall out of Georgia. Not a perfect scheme fit, kind of just going BPA. A couple, depth moves here on the defensive side of the ball. Dev traits, not great ratings though. Usually D-tackle cheese, you get 70+ rated players. We got 2 dev traits, so that could be, we're in the dev trait lottery, if you will. But at least we got a really nice player here in Gaithers. And, probably, better that the nose tackle is a higher rated player because we have Redmond as our interior pass rusher. Covington can be an understudy this season. Look at the rest of the class. Was it a crazy draft? Well, we got an 82 rated running back, 83 rated guard, 80 rated corner. No steals, though. No one really falling out of the second round. That was insane value. Third round, Hopkins there. That's 76 in the third round. That would have been pretty cool to do. So here we go. Year 5 Super Bowl or bust. Offensively, we maintained. No one that was a starter is gone. Everyone's only going to continue to get better. No one's really at their ceiling. So for that, I'm optimistic that our offense that was very good could take another level. Defensively, we bring a couple rookies in. We get Bernard and Covington on the defensive line. Gaithers at safety. But we have enough veterans here, especially in the secondary. One of the best secondaries, maybe the best secondary in the NFL if Gaithers has a nice dev trait. Our pass rush was on fire last year. Dallas Turner and Dylan Stewart are an excellent 1-2 punch. Our linebackers are super reliable, but maybe no change bigger Then the addition of Ben Johnson as our play caller. Can he be the special seasoning, that final two missing ingredients to make this Vikings team an award-winning dish? Let's find out. So in mid-season, we are looking, well, 7-2. The record is good. Our 92 rated offense is playing like it. First in points, top 10 in passing. Rushing yards are fine. So things look pretty good with Ben Johnson here under the helm. Defense, though, ugh, not the finest work. But because we may have to prepare for a rebuild beyond this, yep, I think we're probably sticking with Chambliss, right? I don't know what that freaking number's going to end up being, but I love no one else being interested. That is sick. Okay. I mean, we can't really resign anybody until we get that contract across the line. I mean, Darisaw, 3 years. There we go. Okay, we'll hand out that money. Keep our superstar tackling. That's usually a pretty good bet. But we can't be handing out $100 million contracts until we get Chambliss re-signed. We'll try again next week. How about $504 million? There we go. Wow. Okay. We got $63 million cap remaining. I mean, Terrell's going to be more difficult to replace. So we'll get him signed, homegrown. And because we signed him, we're not going to have the money for J.C. Horn. Lewis is looking for, yeah, that's for an off-ball linebacker, way too much money. We'll let him, Horn Dog, Claiborne's never really developed, like, you know, and then Murphy, Redmond, all those guys are kind of at that point of regression where it's not going to make a whole lot of sense to throw them some money. And we'll roll that all over, and hopefully, you know, if we have to rebuild this team, we have enough money to pay Dylan Stewart when that time comes. Oh, yeah, this is working. We found the Dylan Stewart. Now, we haven't had any offensive player of the weeks, but as long as we're getting them on the defensive side of the ball, look at the ratings. Very, very happy with the addition of Ben Johnson. So at the end of year number 5, Super Bowl or bust, the Vikings, we get our first 1 seed, our first divisional title. And it's a down year. We kind of overkilled it a little bit, but we get the first round bye, which is huge. It's one less playoff game. Our curse can act up. Number 1 offense, top 5 passing, top 10 rushing, defense almost top 10. Big news on the rookie front. I still haven't unveiled the dev traits from the 2 defensive tackles, but we do know Gaither's at safety, and he is a superstar. The perfect selection for us in that first round. I think we absolutely crushed that draft process. To be honest with you, take a look at our player stats of this year. Justin Jefferson, 2nd in receiving. I think he's 1st in touchdowns with 17. Chambliss, a top 5 quarterback, 4th in yards, 4th in touchdowns, 38 touchdowns to 5 picks. We got 1,000 yards, 7 touchdowns for Claiborne. Look at that. Chambliss's rushing touchdowns, 8. So there is the Brian, why do I keep calling him Brian? The Ben Johnson influence. We're getting that scrambling quarterback numbers, which 46 touchdowns. He's going to be up there for MVP. Justin Jefferson still crushed it in the slot. Addison, maybe not so much. No 2,000-yard receivers. Kind of sucks. Defensively, Lewis and Weeks, tackle machines. 13.5 sacks for Dylan Stewart. 11.5 for Dallas Turner. 8.5 for Jalen Redmond on the INT fronts. Agnew. Wow. Kind of like a spot starter here. The linebacker. Cool. Cool and also weird. Damn. Runner-up for MVP. Hey, we didn't even get Coach of the Year. His back-to-back Offensive Player and Wide Receiver of the Year awards for Justin Jefferson. Chambliss gets Quarterback of the Year for the 2nd straight year. And because we know it's going to be the final year of this video for the rebuild, let's look at our player stats and what they've been able to accomplish through these 5 years. Chambliss, 16,000 yards passing, 142 touchdowns and 28 picks. We also have almost 1,000 yards rushing and 13 touchdowns. I wish we changed the scheme sooner. At the end of the day, we knew the Vikings team sucked. Even though we were at least able to get big-time numbers from Justin Jefferson, everything else has been whelming. And I think as soon as you get like a scrambling quarterback, we should have explored a scheme that would actually like benefit a scrambling quarterback. Claiborne's kind of just been a guy. Very underwhelming pick since we made that selection. Justin Jefferson, over 14,000 yards receiving, 119 touchdowns, 6,500 yards, 42 touchdowns for Jordan Addison. Felton was a good role player for us. Same was Michael Mayer. Defensively, we got Byron Murphy, a bunch of tackles, 23 picks. 51.5 sacks, Dallas Turner turned his career around, got that huge superstar dev trade increase during training camp. 44 sacks, Jalen Redmond, what a success story. 36 sacks from Dylan Stewart, able to get a rare blue chip player from that 2027 class, and he has lived up to the hype. We'll obviously make the trade for J.C. Horn. We get 11 picks for Terrell. who's also been a very good player for us. Ooh, okay, divisional round home game. We get the 10-7 Cowboys, who are very good. They're actually a better roster than us. 89 rated, 92 offense. Huh? Excuse, how? Let me a look at this. We got a lot of 90s. You got this guy. Oh, they have no more Dak Prescott, so that makes sense. That's why they finally gone with him. Willings is a 92. Lamb Pickens. Yeah, they got Craver, Ferguson. Offensive line. Ooh, Jesus. Okay, starting to make sense. Pretty much like, okay, linebacking core is kind of weak. Secondary, not a strength, I think would be fair to say. But that is a damn good team that the Cowboys have built. Like, I would say it'd be incredibly frustrating not to get a win, not to go on a Super Bowl run. That Cowboys team is good enough that, like, there's no shame in losing to that team. That is a super team as well. But we will see. I will not go down swinging, though. We will hop in if we get a chance, I think. This is just because it's garbage. Look, we're already down 14-0. Phenomenal. Touchdown there to cut into the lead, but our defense hasn't got one stop this whole game. We'll come in here on this 3rd and inches. See if we can do something. Help them out. Inspire this team. But I do have my worries that this Vikings team is just cursed. There we go. Justin Jefferson gets a little bit of separation, and we sail it. Oh, we go for it, and they get it. Wow. Okay, we'll come in here again. 4th down. Just because fuck the Cowboys. Okay. Right there. Free play. Layup. Right there to Felton. Keep the drive alive. Help him out. Chambliss, 156 yards. Not his best showing. And we are just living in 4th down. Not good. Not efficient football. We do have Justin Jefferson in the slot. Try to get him the ball. Get protection. There we go. A little bit of like a natural pick. Break some ankles. Get that block 3. Go! Oh, all the way to the 1. Punch it in, boys. $240, huh? That's how much I hate the Cowboys. I don't even care if we're getting an asterisk. Let's be the one time. I'm sick and tired of the fact that they're a super team, too. No team in the Sims should be that good. So, we'll help them out. Plus, touchdown would win it for us. Let's take this to the 2-minute warning.
Ready, set. Ready.
All right, clock's rolling. 7 yards to go. 45, 40. I mean, now we got to score at any time. Oh, he's scrambled. Take off his scramble. Get that block. Boom! Chambliss does it himself. Extra point away from backpacking this team to at least an opportunity. I can't, no, there's already an asterisk. I can't help him anymore. I just can't lose to a Super Cowboys team. We had to get at least one chance so you guys didn't commit an hour to this video and watch us fucking the Vikings curse ruin it. But I'm sure that'll happen in the championship game. But at least we got there. We have an opportunity. Chambliss put the team on his back. 1 point victory. Look at that. Pretty sick. But man, oh man, the defense was overwhelming. Shout out the rookie Jaleel Bernard, the nose tackle. Only guy that's getting a bonus, a game check today. All right, NFC Championship game as set. We get the Niners, who actually have a higher rated defense, but everything else, I mean, it's polar opposites. They have a elite defense. We have a fine defense. They have a fine offense. Can run the football. We have an elite offense. We got to play better, though, than we did against Dallas. But it is a home game. Can we have a little bit of magic, or are the Vikings cursed? Like, I'd say if we lose, this team's cursed. I don't know how much better I could rebuild this team. Again, I think the only change would be maybe just immediately changing the schemes and getting something that can get some dual threat play. But there's not a lot of playbooks that are good that can get the quarterback involved. We just need to trust Ben Johnson's offense here can operate. Chaz Chambliss and company. And our offense is playing real well, but the Niners are not going away. They're going to have a chance here. They're probably going to tie this one up at 28. Ooh, our defense gets a stop, but they're going to have to get another one. No, inch to score. Oh, touchdown drive, field goal. Let's go, 31-28. The Vikings are in the Super Bowl. That's a quality win. That makes me, like, you know, feel a little bit better about what we did, the heinous integrity-losing things that we did against Dallas there. That is a quality win. 360 yards, 3 touchdowns, no picks for Chambliss. Run game complimentary. Addison, Jefferson, Mayer doing their job defensively. I mean, no pressures there, but Whitweek's outstanding. 14 tackles, a TFL, and a pick. 2 PBUs. Let's go. Oh, baby. We're going through like the Madden 25 gauntlet of Dallas Cowboys, Kansas City Chiefs playoff run. Chiefs 13-4, an immensely talented team, the 5th best offense, 2nd best passing offense, top 10 rush defense. Pass defense sucks. Overall defense, kind of middle of the mall. They're one-dimensional offensively, even though they have Jeremiah Love as running back. There's a path for us to win this game. I was just out of curiosity. I was like, did Mahomes like put up insane numbers? He had a good year. Like sometimes Mahomes goes for like 5,200 yards and 60 touchdowns. That's a modest performance from Mahomes. So a little bit more of a confidence boost. And home Super Bowl, Minneapolis. This is the perfect opportunity. This might be our only opportunity. I don't think even if we come back and rebuild, I don't know how to fix this team if this team can't win. All right, I'm gonna draw a line in the sand. I will, if this game goes to overtime, I can guilt-free hop in and try to win. Anything else, because of everything that happened in Dallas, even if it's like just we're losing 40-0 at half, the Dallas win, they give this playoff run some spark. That is all the juice I can interject, unless this game goes to overtime. And I'm gonna from the checks and balances, that's because it's Kansas City. It's the Chiefs. You hate playing the Chiefs. It's so annoying watching them win all the time. So that's why. But weird game. Touchdown, safety are the only points we have. And a field goal. 7-8. Huh. Like a touchdown. There we go. 5-point lead. Can't really give Mahomes all this time, but let's watch this one live. End of game drive. 15-18. Love to chew. You know, you're going up against two things here. You got to chew the clock up. We go Dwyer. Who the hell is that for 9 yards? Second and 10. I'd love to get this to the 2-minute warning if we can, but scoring is paramount. 5-yard run. 3rd and 5. Okay. I mean, there's too much time. Let's be honest. There's way too much time. But that's a huge drive. I love that because we basically made the decision that tight end doesn't need to be an expensive player. Let's move off Hockenson. We go get Michael Mayer, give him an opportunity to be an outright starter, something he hasn't been really afforded in his time in Vegas. And he's been great. That's been an outstanding business decision, roster decision for us. But now we got to just keep him out of the end zone. Can our defense? Dylan Stewart. Oh, it's a penalty. Horn dog hurt the team. No. It's not good, boys. Not good. 24 yards. They have all their timeouts. They take a field goal? What? It counts! I don't care. It counts! Yes! Don't try to make sense of it. Do not. It counts. Check mark. You were there. I was there. We all saw what happened. That's all it takes. Hit him with the Stone Cold Steve Austin entrance taunt. Hit him with the double birds if you need to. The double. Thank you, Madden. Thank you, Madden. Because if it wasn't for Madden bugging, I have no idea what I'd have to, like, just redo the rebuild from the beginning. There's no way I could inherit this team and make the drastic enough changes to make it good. Chambliss, Mahomes, 3 picks. Chambliss, horrific. 45% completion percentage is gross. You know what? Honestly, Horn Dog, pretty easy Super Bowl MVP. Making that huge trade. Worked out well. Grenard almost won Defensive Player of the Year on the Panther side of things. Cool. Sick. What a win. There we go, fellas. A very successful Madden 26 Minnesota Vikings realistic rebuild. Don't know how we won. Probably shouldn't have won, but we won. And a checkmark is a checkmark. We break the Vikings curse, and we have built an absolute super team. You know? Oh, Cleveland Claiborne finally going up depth rate. Better late than never. But the fact that I came in knowing the scheme sucked, and it always hurts Justin. It pretty much cannibalizes Justin Jefferson. We fixed it. It was honestly pretty easy fix, and anyone can do that fix. But we fixed it. We went out, we drafted superstars. We developed superstars on the defensive side of the ball. We made aggressive trades when we needed to. And at the end of the day, taking a gamble on maybe the hottest quarterback, college or NFL right now, Ole Miss's Trinidad Chambliss from Ferris State, who's I've never heard of them, and I looked in, they're literally a juggernaut. Like it's North Dakota State, Carson Wentz era all over again. What are they, like Div 3? They went like 17-0 this year. Goes to Ole Miss, has Ole Miss in the college football playoffs, semifinals. It's insane. Seems like he might just be that next quarterback that has a little bit of magic, can defy odds, not prototypical size, but there could be something special there. And if you pair that with a QB guru like Kevin O'Connell, and then we pair that with maybe the best play caller in the league in Ben Johnson, and you have Kansas City kicking field goals for some reason to pretty much give up on the game, that's how much the Chiefs respect Chambliss. They're like, we got to let this guy win. Let's throw the game. So for that, I very much appreciate it. And that will do it for today's rebuild, fellas. If it is your first time stopping by, don't be afraid to hit that subscribe button. Smash the like button if you enjoyed. Let me know in the comment section below which team you want to see rebuilt next. We're not redoing teams yet until we go through all 32. So let me just, in my notes here, put a little check mark next to Minnesota. So we're at a point where we have to like look at playoff teams, which aren't the funnest teams to rebuild. We have New England, Buffalo. We have Houston, Jacksonville, Chargers, Broncos, Packers, Bears. We have the Carolina Panthers, who did just lose. That could be our next rebuild because the Panthers lost, and by the time we're ready for our next rebuild, we'll know if they made the playoffs. I think they need Atlanta to win. We also have the Niners, Rams, and Seahawks. So out of those teams, let me know which one you want to see next. And that'll do it for me today, guys. Thank you very much for watching. And until next time, it's your boy C4 saying peace out, love ya. Have a good one.